Ma'am, if you could please, if you would get in the line to ask your question, we would appreciate it.
Hecklers who said they opposed the war in Gaza repeatedly interrupted a town hall at Aurora University last night for Congressman Bill Foster. The Democrat emphasized he's long been in support of a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, but to no avail. Foster and the 434 other members of the House of Representatives are back in their districts for the next few weeks while the lower chamber is on an extended summer break. 2nd District Congresswoman Robin Kelly, a Democrat, is taking this time to engage with her community and this morning engaging with me as well. She's joining us live. Good morning, Congresswoman.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope you're well. Now, I know a lot has happened since Speaker Mike Johnson sent the House home, rather unexpectedly for some. We'll get to some of that in a bit. But what have you been hearing from your constituents since the House adjourned for the summer? For instance, is Gaza and the situation there on the top of the mind for folks who live in your district?
For many of the people that live in my district, yes, that is a concern, but often they talk to me really about the kitchen table issues. A lot are talking about Medicaid and hospital closures and lack of access to health care because my district is urban, suburban, and rural. So I have the biggest Democratic district in the state of Illinois. So a lot of rural in my district, but also I know some of my urban hospitals have been hanging by a thread, for a while. So that seems top of mind. And, I still hear from people about the cost of groceries. Someone just spoke to me yesterday about the cost of ground beef when she went to her grocery store. So costs and access to health care seem top of mind. Gaza, yes. And then, of course, people talk some about the Epstein issue.
Well, that brings me actually to my next question. So let's talk about why Speaker Johnson dismissed the chamber early, and it was to avoid calling a vote on releasing documents related to the Epstein case. What were your thoughts on that, and what should happen, in your opinion, going forward?
Well, it doesn't surprise me that he did that. I mean, he's more or less a puppet for whatever President Trump wants. That's the bottom line. So instead of, facing the music, he let us go. But if there's the discharge petition, and if 218 people sign it, which is the majority, in the House, then he's supposed to call the bill. And I think he saw that coming. So that's why he let us go. So it was Democrats and Republicans that are signing. And there's a bipartisan bill by two of my colleagues that is really pushing this. And supposedly from my Republican colleague, what he was saying, that they are getting a lot of phone calls from their base, and a lot of it is, MAGA base, about you're protecting a pedophile or pedophiles, depending on who's on the list.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of renewed discussion about, what should happen with that case and the documents related to it from both sides, which is interesting. I know that dealing with the maternal mortality rate here in Illinois and the U.S. was a really important issue for you to take up, and you did. What would you say is at the top of your priority list heading into the fall?
Well, still, that is one of the heads of that is the head of my priority list, one of them. And there's still work to do around maternal mortality and morbidity, around gun violence, around putting more money in people's pockets. And as I said before, just access to healthcare in general is very concerning to my constituents, but not only mine. I've been around a lot of parts of the state, and they're saying the same thing. People are very concerned about Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security it eventually leads to.
Right, the cuts that, a lot of that cuts related to the president's so-called big, beautiful bill, which I know passed, a few weeks ago.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, Congresswoman Kelly, thanks so much for joining me this morning. We really appreciate touching base with you when we can.